today's objective, really, is going to be to make sure that you guys understand the fundamental areas of how you're going to generate revenue and how to increase that revenue and what you need to have in place. The goal is to create training systems inside your business. And training systems creates better producers, which therefore create better revenue producers, create better revenue, create higher numbers, and then everyone's working together as a team. Yeah. And so this is just basically an overview of a salon floor plan. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. But the reason I put this up is I want you guys to think about your business just a little differently. So I put this up because I want to give you guys a little trick. I want you guys to take your blueprints, those of you that have already built out a salon or building out a salon. I want you to take those blueprints, I want you to take it to Staples, I want you to laminate them. And I want you to find a space or a corner for yourself in your salon somewhere that is just for you. And that is called your office, right? And I don't care where that is, it is nothing more than a closet. Have something. It is important for you to do that. Because before you have an office, where else are you doing any of your business work? In your car? I mean, I don't know, I'm just saying, in a restaurant down the street? Think about where that is. You need to have a space for just you because this is where you need to make sure that your brain is on fire. And so you can create these leadership, macro management, visionary type of things. It starts with the 7 zones. In my opinion, your salon has 7 zones. And inside each zone, you need to really formulate where you're going to generate revenue from each zone. So the first zone is going to be reception, right? So laminated, whatever your blueprint looks like, and then these are going to be your 7 zones. So the first is going to be your reception, waiting room. Where are you? Retail, office, front desk. Where are you making money? I want you to write down in the zone, right on your blueprint, where are you making money in this zone? Are you making money through retail? What is the retail percentage that you're doing? The front desk, are you doing any sales tips, any sales tactics, any sales training? The front desk must have sales training. If they don't, they're not just there to answer the phone. They're not just there to check people in and out. They're there to sell. And you need to pay them to sell as well as their hourly wage to manage that desk. And when you start doing that, you'll see sales going up and up and up. So there are 2 ways. So there are 3 fundamentals to being a salon owner. The first 2 are the core ones. Cash in, cash out, okay? So think of it like my body. You have 2 legs. So one leg is cash in. It's called revenue, right? Cash out, or in your revenue, you have 2 legs. You have service dollars and you have retail dollars. And if I'm standing on 2 legs and I'm strong, and each one is strong and equal, we're very balanced, yes? But if I lift up one leg and I got to stand on one leg for 25 years, how am I going to stay balanced? If you cut retail off and you don't have high retail, you're basically trying to stand on one leg for the rest of your career or for the rest of the term of your business. Retail dollars and service dollars must be equalized, in my opinion. Do you know that profit margin yield on service dollars sits somewhere between 2 to 5% on average in the salon industry, if there is profit yield at all? On retail, all you got to do is hit 10 to 15% retail percentages to equalize the same amount of profit margin that you do on service dollars. So you could have 8 stylists generating $850,000, which I'm going to show you the model. All you got to do is sell $150,000 in retail to have the same retail. I mean, just have the same profit margin. That is important. And so I know what people are saying. Well, Amazon is here. Everybody wants to go to Amazon. Everyone goes to Ulta. My stuff don't sell. You need to build in loyalty programs inside your business. Financial literacy in your office. How structured are you on what you're spending? Are you in control of your invoices? Are you in control of your spending? Are you in control of what you're doing with money? Do you even know who the hell is discounting at your front desk? I can't tell you how many salon owners I've worked with as a consultant, and I'm telling you, 100% of them have discounting issues going on at their desk. Not 85, 100. So I guarantee you, you have discounting issues going on at your front desk if you are not in control of that. Meaning, is your price list structured? Does the stylist, are they trained on what you're pricing? How are you doing that? Are you breaking down each itemized thing? And I've had salon owners resist me and say, well, my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, she's going to come in, I'm going to spend 30 minutes talking to her. I have no idea. I might do 5 different things. How do I know how to price that? Well, write it down. Just write it down. So if you're going to do a color, and then a balayage, and then a toner, and then a glaze, and then a a scalp treatment, and then a express color, and then a, you know what I'm saying, like on and on and on and on and on you can do to this one client, and you don't know what you're going to charge her, but then why aren't all those things written down in your brochure with a price next to it, with a color room allocation next to it, meaning a balayage only gets 4 scoops of lightener. If you use outside of 4 scoops of lightener, there's an extra color charge, damn it. And if you don't put that extra color charge on it, then we're going to have to figure out a way that that money's coming back to the business from you. Because I'm not taking a hit if you're like not charging correctly, right? But then you can't be pissed at your stylist not able to properly price, because how do they know? What if you're not there? Do you have stylists constantly coming up to you, hey, what should I charge this client? She wants this and this and this. Do you have that going on in your business? If you do, your pricing's not structured well enough. If your stylist know right off, I should be able to sit down in a meeting in your salon and ask any stylist in here, what does it cost for a full balayage? How many color scoop allocations? How many color, 2 ounces of color for this color service? You know, color retouch, 1 ounce. Full color with refresher, 2 ounces with 1 extra ounce of glaze. Toner, ½ ounce. I should be able to know exactly what color room allocation that is happening inside of it. And then those color room allocations need to be connected absolutely to your color invoices, or, and by the way, color and retail invoices need to be separated, by the way. If you guys aren't placing those on 2 separate orders, that is going to be one of the biggest things that are going to help you understand the revenue that's going out of your business. So separate out your retail orders and your color orders right away. And don't even bother asking the distributor, just do these separate orders. You know, just make the order separate on your order forms. And those of you that are still going to the store, this class, I don't have enough time to really talk about that, but I'll tell you that's probably not a good practice, and we need to eventually get you to the point where you're ordering, because you get kickbacks and points from your distributors if you don't, number one. Number two, you can't control your invoices by doing that, unless you are meticulous about your receipt keeping. Yeah, and you need to be really, really meticulous. And then your service platform is your stations. What's happening at your stations? How are they producing? Are they upselling? Are they having different things that are happening there? You know, what's the consultation like? I would really, really address that and start creating training programs around that. Back bar. Your back bar, we generated, just to share, $110,000 revenue, $114,000 actually, in 2016, in just revenue dollars behind the back bar, with not one stylist involved. Not one stylist had to do it. It is about creating a treatment menu, a back bar menu, interactive stations, teaching your junior staff and your assistant staff to do this properly and to teach it and to sell it. Now the stylists get credit for it. I pay the stylist commission on those dollars, but because then they're happy to kind of talk about it and sell it as well. But we also bonus and pay this team differently outside of their hourly. So that their hourly is, let's say, $8 in Virginia, minimum wage $7.25. Let's say we pay them $8 an hour. We give them monthly bonuses if they hit certain target metrics. So we'll say we're pushing surface shine treatments this month, and make it real simple. And just say for this whole month, all I want you guys to do is sell 400 of them. And so if you have a client traffic coming in like on a Friday, we have like 230 client traffic, let's say. That's my average traffic on a Friday, right? And so I would track it. This should be easily achievable in 1 month, for the love of God. If you see 230 clients on a Friday, you should be able to do this. You should be able to sell 400 shine treatments. I'm sorry, right? You know, this is an achievable goal, right? And so, you know, we hit 400, and let's say we blast out the wall. Let's say we do 560. Next month it's going to be 750 treatments. And if they hit that, then we pay them all bonuses. And you can bonus them however you want to do it. That gets very innovative. And in our online course, we teach a lot about how to pay benefits and how to create bonus pay structures and compensation plans. And at the end, I'll talk about that a little bit. Color bar, it's all about creating the color allocations connected to your invoices, so you're not screaming about wastage. Listen, wastage can happen. Dump it down the sink. I don't really care. But if it's coming out the same percentage out of my product expense, I'm fine with that. So if I'm not choking down 20% of cost of goods, then I'm fine with that. And I think this is a perfect time to talk about cost of goods at this point. So let's talk about accounting workflow. Accounting workflow basically works like this. So you have total gross revenue, right? That's what we bring in. That's like the pool, right? So total gross revenue, what has to come off first in accounting? And if none of you are doing accounting, you need to take some basic accounting so you understand this, because even if you're not the one doing it and you have a bookkeeper, you still need to understand it. Because you need to explain it, and you need to teach it, and you need to make sure it's happening properly. The bookkeeper doesn't know. You know. And if you don't know, you need to know. So accounting workflow, total gross revenue, bookkeeper needs to take off at desk, front desk level, in daily summary every night at the end of your closeout. That needs to be taken off. Cost of goods. We call that service charges in our business. That is incorrect. It is not a service charge. If you call it a service charge and you take it off at payroll level, it is illegal. It is called an illegal wage deduction. So it is not proper to do that, okay? However, if you have a signed document, once I hire you and I say I pay you 45% commission rate on 90% of total gross revenue, I'm square. Because now you're doing it legally and you're doing it contractually. And I hate watching all these Facebook forums, and I see all these people talking about contracts are too hard, contracts are not necessary, contracts are too much work. That is absolute bullshit. You have to be contractual. You must have contracts inside your business for every single thing that you do. And if you don't, you are putting yourself open to a lot of legal liabilities and a lot of challenges. This industry is changing, and it is changing dramatically and very, very quickly. And salon owners are being flagged left and right for being not non-compliant from the Labor Department and the IRS. It is happening. So you guys need to make sure you're really compliant. So if we take out the money for cost of goods, typically it's 10%, right? Typically. Now, what do you remove for cost of goods? A lot of salon owners don't even know that. You don't remove retail. You don't remove sundries. Those are part of expenses, right? But you do remove color. You do remove things like foil, things that you need to work. If you open a taco shop and you want to run a taco shop, if you don't put aside money to buy more stuff for your tacos, you have no taco shop. Agreed? Then you're just sitting there saying, I sold out of tacos, I'm out of my taco stuff, so I got to close up shop. Then you just got to close up, because what's the point? Right? I can't tell you how many times I go to like a restaurant and they're like, well, we're out of steak. Well, isn't this like Ruth's Chris House? I mean, are you kidding me? Why are you out of steak? It's because you didn't order properly? No, we're just busy. Well, you should have accommodated for that. So now I'm a customer wanting steak. So if you have a client comes in and says, I want one, well, we're out of that. We don't have that. So can we rebook you to another time? Right? We can't do that. This is a salon, and you need color set aside to make sure that you have what you need to do your business. Social media is another way you're going to generate revenue. This is a zone. This is marketing, community marketing, in-house marketing, how you're tracking your marketing, etc. And then the back room. I want to share something about the back room. I'm still going to shows and hearing things that people are saying, I don't have a back room, I don't believe in back rooms, I think back rooms suck. I disagree wholeheartely, because I believe if you want your stylist to be happy and really cared for, you're going to create a really beautiful space for them to rest and to chill in. The more you give back to your employees and help them have some downtime, the more productive they tend to be. This is the truth, guys. There is scientific backing to this. Why then do salon owners expect there to be zero backroom space for their stylist, for them to rest and to refocus and to talk to each other, even if it's just like, oh my God, she's crazy. You know, sometimes we're just doing that in the back. That is camaraderie. That builds teamwork. But the problem is salon owners are afraid of the back room because they're not doing things contractually and following procedures, so they're terrified to be back there, and they don't want to hear the negative stuff happening about them. But instead, you've got to create systems of growth back there. Have motivational things that are happening back there. All these kinds of things, yeah? All right, so these are going to be some of the reports that you're going to need to learn to read very, very well. The first thing that you want to read, and you need to be able to run these reports. How many of you are computerized? Okay, so if you're not computerized, I highly recommend you get computerized and get a really good program. There's a million of them out there. Millennium, Salon Hire, Salon Biz. I mean, pick the one you want. Vagaro, there's a million. Some of them have different features than others. It's fine. I'm not here to tout a computer program. We use Salon Biz, and I like it because, and we've maxed it out, and I like it because they have a program called MIA that interacts with the color room, and meaning stylists have to enter in what they're doing at the color room level, and then it goes into the ticket so that there's no mischarging, which is a big deal for me. I don't like mischarging on the front desk. I'm tight about that. I review the revenue, I review charges, I run reports on that constantly. I want to know if somebody's discounting services inappropriately, and I want to know if the front desk is catching charges properly, like Olaplex charges and B3 charges and whatever. Because if you keep adding all that up, you're going to see huge profit loss out of your business if you're not in tight control of that. You want to read your retail reports. You want to read your inventory reports, product expense reports. You need to see what's coming out. You need to see how much is fluctuating. Journal entries are what you take the daily summaries into your QuickBooks, your accounting program, and how you enter that. Your bookkeeper most likely will be doing this, but you should learn how to do a journal entry with your accountant for just a little bit, because I think it's important to understand where that goes, because I think that if you know, basically what a journal entry is basically putting numbers into a certain area of your QuickBooks, and your QuickBooks is nothing more than just categories. It's just nothing more than categories, right? So category 1, revenue, category 2, products, category 3, expenses, and then in your expenses you have line items, and what are those line items? You know, miscellaneous, I love that one, you know, sundries, product cost, you know, rent, the list goes on and on and on. I have like 113 line items in my QuickBooks. It's ridiculous, but so you understand, and I know stylists, when they hear me say that, they're like, what? I was like, yes, expenses. I have 113 categories of expenses. Lovely. So just so you know, that adds up. So now let's go back to accounting workflow. So if we have total gross revenue, then we deduct first. In any business, not just the hair business, in any business, you must remove cost of goods first. Because why? You need that to sustain the business. If you don't have that, the business becomes unsustainable. So in that formulation, it's total gross revenue minus cost of goods equals operating profit. Okay? So in operating profit, what do you pay out? Does the owner get to go shopping? No, you don't get to go shopping. It's not your money. It's the business's money. I love it when stylists are like, my owner steals my money. No, it doesn't. The business needs that money to sustain. And so in operating profit, at that point, what do you pay? You pay expenses, you pay rent. Well, the first order of business is labor. So you got to pay your labor, you got to pay your payroll, right? You got to make sure you have for that. So set that aside. That's got to go aside. And then after labor, then you do all your expenses, right? And then after that, you deduct all of that, then what do you get? You get net profit, right? And then after net profit, does the owner get to keep it? No. The owner has to pay taxes, corporate taxes at this point. So at operating profit level, we got to pay payroll tax, sales tax, blah, blah, blah tax, you know, FU tax, I don't know, all kinds of tax. But then at net profit level, we can't even keep what we have there. So what we get to keep is like 2%. So stylists need to understand that. Back bar, this is another zone. And again, we're going to training your assistants to have the right dialogue to sell certain treatments. If I asked you right now, you're a 6 stylist, would they know what treatment to offer for dry hair right now on the back bar? Would they be able to tell me like this? If that can't happen, it's just nothing more than a training day, guys. It's not that hard. Don't be overwhelmed. Color bar, we talk a lot about color allocations and all of these things. I don't have enough time to teach you this today, but just know that this is probably a 1-month class in itself to learn how to do this properly and to integrate it to your front desk so that the charging is correct and that you're training your stylist on charging the right charges. Because here's where you're going to lose money big time if you're not focusing on what you're doing. Okay? So how the zones work together, we're going to skip over this. They work together through documentation, right? So you got to start documenting and then focus on the guest experience, create some policies behind what you're doing, understanding your finances from within, understand what's happening, create clear goals and expectations with your staff, communicate it. If you don't communicate it, how will you expect them to know? That's just my point. Don't be mad at your staff if you're not communicating it, right? So this is how you get to $1 million. And then how you get to 2, and how you get to 3. This is it. So let's go. So 8 stylists generating $100,000 gross annual revenue. So do you need 20? You don't need 20. You just need 8 really well-trained ones. Yeah, really good ones. And you only really need 8 stations, so you're in. Yeah. So annual income then, for them on W-2 would hit somewhere around $45,000 a year. So if you have 8 stylists making $45,000 a year, it's pretty good living, right? Some of them though might be at like $25,000, $30,000. Some of them might be at like $80,000. That's probably more realistic, but I just did this for, you know, hypothetical scenario, okay? And then each stylist needs to generate around $8,333 a month in total gross revenue. That's their target number. Yeah. So a stylist needs to make $8,500 a month. Shoot for $8,500, $8,500, $8,500, right? Which is somewhere around $2,200 a week or something like that, $2,083 a week. Right? So they just have to hit these weeks, get them there. whatever you gotta do to get them there, okay? And then per day is about $416. That's about the goal per day. So if you get your stylists at $416 a day and you got 8 of them, you're in, you're making it. If you are open 261 days a year, which means that you are open 5 days a week, right? So those of you that are open 5 days, that would be good. Yeah. So that means that you're generating $869,999. So service, $869. And then your daily retail sales should be sitting somewhere around $498 times 261 days, which then you're going to put in about $130,000 in retail, which is nice. That's about 15% retail roughly, yeah, roughly. And then that means that your account is going to be sitting at $1 million. You want a $2 million salon, double this, or double them. You can make them, you can become a $2 million salon with 8 stylists. This is not including you as a producer, if you're the owner that's producing. If you want to produce, then you're one of these producers. You're probably producing $300,000 of it though. Yeah, most likely, owners are. So, you guys get the idea. This is how we get to $1 million. It's all about the numbers. You got to get down to the numbers. This is the 3 types of profit that we explained earlier. So, basically, this is going to give you the breakdown of your accounting workflow. And then once you get to the bottom, you can keep it. Then you can go shopping. Then it's profit. And then at that point, we really, really do want to make sure that we understand profit. These are some expenses that go into line items. I'm not going to spend a ton of time, but I want to give you guys a really strong understanding of how you look at your expenses and how you control them. The goal is to get your expenses equatable to percentages. So not just dollar amount. So when you do a budget, you need to get it to percentages. Because if you have 100% gross revenue and you pay 45% commission, that means you have a window of about 55% to work with for your expenses. Agreed? So this is just a list. I'm not going to go over it, but here's the key. These are our expenses, and they lead to 77.5%. So do you see how the percentages now all of a sudden make sense? So then it becomes very clear what the commission needs to be for you to be profitable. If you pay too high a commission, you're going to operate in the red. It is that simple. And so this is a commission structure sample, but this is just kind of fundamentally how we do it. We just break down per number for a weekly service total. That's all. And then they get the sliding scale on that, and we take them up to 55 if they have a higher number. This is sliding, which means that if they, for the dollar amounts that sit between 0 and 1,500, they always receive this commission. They never receive the 55% on the whole 6,000. Let's say they make 6,000 a week, right? They only receive 45 or 40 on this 1,500, and they only receive 45 on this 1,500, and they only receive 50 on this 1,500. Does that make sense? If you did it the other way and you wiped it all the way up, you'd be back down to red again. It's just you got to be, but you've got to incentivize them. If they're making more, they get paid more. Agreed? I think I've drilled the commission topic down, but let's talk about it from a standpoint of a balance sheet. Okay, so this is a balance sheet. This is very simplistic. Okay, this is not in any way, shape, or form like this is just all hypothetical here. But you guys get the idea of accounting and numbers. $1 million salon. Okay, 55% commission. That means your commission wages is $550,000. The taxes you're going to have to pay on that, it's called 941 taxes, or $137,500. That means your total commission payroll expense hits at $687,500. Out of $1 million, you're telling me 68's gone? Do you see why you can't pay more commission? Okay. So, but we're not even talking about, this is just your 8 stylists. But your 8 stylists that are super busy cranking out lots of money need support, yes? They need front desk, they need assistants. This is why salons don't hire them, because they don't have the money for it. And so, if you have 5 staff members, 2 front desk, 3 assistants, let's just say, we calculate it per year, 9,100 hours per year is what you're giving them for full time, yeah? 38 hours roughly, or 35 hours a week, each one. You pay them $8 on average, let's say. $72,000 or $72,000 in commission every year to pay. That's my support staff expense, okay? Now, I have to add the taxes to that because I got to match taxes on their payroll. That's their payroll tax match. And so then now I'm at $91,000 out of my million. So 10% is pretty much gone for support staff. Yeah. So to support you guys, so wouldn't it be worth it to train these people to produce more for you? Wouldn't it be worth it to do that? So I want you to look at your business differently now. I want you to look at where you can find money and make money inside your business. Do you see why seeing the numbers helps you? Because the numbers don't lie. Numbers become very clear and apparent. Yeah? So now, we just give some standard level of expenses. Again, remember these are what we call line items. Remember I said I have 113, right? So on my QuickBooks, this is just like 7. Yeah? Adds up to $300,000. That means right now, at the end of the year, when I pull out my P&L, I'm sitting at $78,000 loss. I'm negative $78,000. How will I pay tax? How will I make payroll? How will I grow? I'm now unsustainable, and I'm now going to shut down my doors. Probably I can do this for 2 years. After the second year, and you take a hit like this, I assure you, you're shutting your doors. Okay. If we change the commission from 55 to 45 and nothing else, I've changed nothing else on this balance sheet, nothing else, I'm now at 46 positive. I'm now seeing a profit margin of about 5%. Do you see how commission, just one little deduction or one little shift, can make or break you as a business owner? We need to educate our staff more about the business and the numbers so that they understand and that they have a firmer understanding about what's going on with you guys, instead of you keeping it very secret. So first order of business is to go back, start looking at your reports, start talking to your accountant, start understanding how some of the procedures are working inside your business, start educating yourself for that. Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time this morning. I hope to see you back. Thanks.